Well, good morning and welcome to Coach's Corner on this final Saturday of September. It feels a little bit more like November maybe out there, but we will survive, we will persevere, and we will get through it as the streak is over. And you weren't there, Will Heyer.
There is no amount of, I'm not going to say remorse because they don't care that I'm there or not, but regret. I would have loved to see, those kids win the ball game. I think that's kind of the coolest part. The thing that I imagine, if I was in that situation, is a bus ride home.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it was one of the more joyous ones they've had. Very emotional after the game, and let's tell you what happened. The Bronco football team broke their 41-game losing streak last night, and a 24-game on the field streak, 41 on paper and 24 on the field, as they defeated Northwoods 20-6 on the road. The Broncos took the opening kickoff. They drove inside the Grizzly 20-yard line before stalling out. They took 5.5 minutes off the clock. Northwoods turned and went right back down the field. They took the rest of the first quarter, and on to the first play of the second quarter, they scored on a 4th and 2 play from 25 yards out, a pass play that gave the Grizzlies a 6-0 lead. The Falls took the ensuing kickoff, 60 yards, 11 running plays, 11 consecutive running plays. They put it in the end zone. They tie it at 6 on a 1-yard run by Simon Palm. Anthony Sari punches in the 2-point conversion, and the Broncos had their first lead of the season at 8-6. It would stay that way until late in the we're off the air. All right, I'm not sure if we're still on here. And there we are. All right, call me back in when you get a chance if you went to commercial. Well, welcome back here to Coach's Corner. Apologize for the technical difficulties. Got Skype kind of has been, acting a little different this morning. I'm not sure what's going on. Anyway, let's pick it back up. The Broncos down at Northwoods. Northwoods coming into the game with a 1-3 record. The Broncos 0-4, and the Broncos took the opening kickoff, drove down the field, got stalled out inside the 20-yard line. The Northwoods Grizzlies went and drove right back down the field. They score on the first play of the second quarter to go up 6-0 on a 25-yard passing play. The Broncos took the ensuing kickoff. In 11 plays, they go 60 yards. All 11 of those plays, running plays, as Simon Palm scores from 1 yard out. Anthony Sari adds the 2-point conversion, and the Broncos had their first lead of the season at 8-6. With under a minute remaining, the Northwoods Grizzlies looking to try to regain the lead. They put the ball up into the air, and Riley Larson intercepts a pass, runs it back about 35 yards for the touchdown, puts the Broncos up 14-6 right before halftime. Gave the Broncos that momentum going into the second half. It would stay that way, 14-6, until late in the fourth quarter. When the Broncos got the ball back, they started driving it down the field. Simon Palm gets his second rushing touchdown of the game from 16 yards out, and the Broncos were up 20-6 with under 2 minutes remaining. Broncos then held on, kept the things at bay, and they get their first win on the field first win on paper since the final regular season game of the 2013 season. Remember, there were 2 wins in 2015 that the Broncos had to forfeit. That last one came in the 7th game of the season in 2015 down at Duluth. Marshall, I remember in a windstorm down there in Duluth, and the Broncos win by a score of 20-6. They rushed 46 times last night for 215 yards, very much in contrast to where they've been over the first 4 games, where they threw the ball over 130 times in the first 4 games. Armando Barrios had 14 carries for 139 yards, and including a 52-yard run and a 40-yard run in the second half. The Broncos now 1-4 on the season. They travel to Two Harbors next Friday. The 2-2 Little Fork Big Falls Vikings went on the road to face Renshaw. The host Wrens led 22-18 after the third quarter, but Jacob Pendergrass scored on a 70-yard run with 4:40 left to make it 24-22. He then added a 20-yard run a couple of minutes later with just over 2 minutes left. Carter Lagergren adds the 2-point conversion on the pass from Logan Maish, and the Vikings were up 32-22. Renshaw scores late, adds the 2-point conversion for the final score of 32-30. The Vikings now above the 500 mark with a 3-2 record, and they host Floodwood next Friday. The Bronco volleyball team was down in Duluth as they took on the Marshall Hilltoppers. The Broncos lose in 3 sets, 25-20, 25-18, 25-12. Mariah Leahy had 10 digs and 3 blocks. Tennyson Omdahl 5 kills and 3 blocks and an ace serve. The Broncos are at home on Tuesday against the Chisholm Blue Streaks, and I'll be there. I don't know if Will be there, but I'll be there with the pregame to start at 6:45 on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. The Indians volleyball team got a comeback 5-set win over Fond du Lac last night. They lose the first 2 sets 25-18, 25-21, and then they win the last 3 sets 25-19, 25-14, and 15-8. This is the third time these two teams have played this year, and the Trojans have now won twice. Rayanna Wolden set a school record last night with 12 ace serves.
Wow.
Not easy to do, 12 ace serves.
No.
5 sets helps that, but man, that's good serving.
Accuracy.
She also had 6 set assists. Isabel Kress and Anna Noyes both had 4 kills and 2 aces, and the Trojans will be our guests next week on Coach's Corner. The Fort Francis football team improved to 3-1 on the season last night with a 41-0 win over Lorette. Quarterback Brady Meeks was 6 for 10 for 130 yards and 3 touchdowns. Brett Allen had 6 carries for 132 yards and a rushing TD, while Riley Argue had 4 receptions for 93 yards and a couple of TDs. And Caden Kachuba. Say it. I maybe got it typed wrong. Say it again. Kachuba. Yeah. I had it right all the time, right?
That's a football name.
Kachuba had a safety last night on the defensive side of the ball as the Muskies get that 41-0 win. We're going to talk more about it as the Fort Francis, some of their players are here, and they will talk to us in our next segment. The Fort Francis Lakers were looking to stay unbeaten early in their season as they hosted the Minnesota Iron Rangers last night at Ice for Kids Arena. Each team scored twice in the first and second periods, with the Lakers never leading through that first 40 minutes as it was tied at 4 after 2 periods. Dustin Reutelman gave the Fort their first lead of the game about 5.5 minutes into the third period. The Iron Rangers tie it with 1:40 remaining in the game, but Noah Loveday scored with 26 seconds left to avoid overtime, and the Lakers improved to 3-0 on the season with the 6-5 win. Fort Francis outshot Minnesota 59-24 in that game last night and still had an eke out a 6-5 win, and the Lakers will be our guests this morning in our third segment. High school football scores from last night around the area. Some shockers. Hang in there. It happens every week. This is the way it goes. Esco 12, Pine City 6. That's Esco's first win of the season. Hard to believe that. Hermantown 21, Duluth East 14. Cloquet 50, Grand Rapids 7. Cromwell Wright 51-14 over Carleton. Deer River gets a first win over Braham in 10 seasons, I was told last night by our good friend Sheldon Slaybaugh. 22-16 the win there. Denfeld 36, Proctor 11. Not shocking, but just makes me think. Barnum 28, Finlayson 12. I had to get a couple of scores in there. I forgot to get your Andover score from last night.
I don't think they performed very well last night. I'm not 100% sure about that, so we're good.
I forgot to get that local score in there, but I had to get this score in there. Rochester John Marshall 72, Red Wing 0.
Sorry, Red Wing.
Sorry, Red Wing. Here's maybe the shocker of the night. Two Harbors, who lost to Virginia in double overtime last night, beats undefeated 5-0 GNK last night, 27-12 on the road at Dixon Barley Field. Somebody please try to explain to me how that kind of stuff happens. North Branch 47, Hibbing 0, and a battle in Virginia last night. Homecoming game for Virginia. Eveleth beats Virginia 8-6. So Virginia beats Two Harbors last week. Then Eveleth comes back and beats Virginia. I don't know what's going to happen, folks, over the last couple of weeks, but it's going to be interesting.
It's making for good football.
Yeah. Cook County 52, Floodwood 6. In the battle between two towns that really don't like each other a whole bunch, Crosby Ironton 20, Aiken 16. I had to throw this one in there too. Isle 78, Onamia 0. These scores shouldn't happen in high school football, but they do. As Walker Hackensack, Akeley 26, Black Duck 0. Kellier Northholm shuts out Big Fork 22-0, and Southridge shuts out Silver Bay 30-0. The Minnesota Twins played a couple of games yesterday. They get a sweep of the Chicago White Sox, and Mitch Garver had a big day as he came back from his concussion symptoms. He been ruled out to play catcher the rest of the season, so he played first base. He got 4 hits, 6 RBIs, and the Twins 12-4 win in Game 2 after winning 2-1 in Game 1, and Barrios got to a 200 strikeout mark in Game 1.
There's 3 youngsters on that team that, it's hard. It's been hard for me to want to pay attention to the Twins or be happy about the Twins, but there's Tyler Austin, Jake Cave, and then
Field?
No, his name's been coming up recently, though, and so that's nice to see, but we'll just say with those 2 guys, I look for them to, be on the team next year for sure and have good years and help the Twins.
First baseman Joe Maurer, who could be playing in his final games in a Twins uniform after 15 seasons, played in both games, went 4 for 8 with a walk, and he got pulled in the 6th inning. And Paul Molitor wanted to make sure that he got the standing ovation that he probably deserves. Some of us maybe have been a little hard on Joe over the last couple of years, but 15 seasons is tough to beat. The Twins play tonight at 6:10, and the pregame starts at 5:40 on K104. Well, the Ryder Cup's going on this weekend, and you probably can tell from my voice I'm not pleased because yesterday morning things started so well.
They've got a shot. You're down.
They were up 3-0. And then 8 straight wins for Europe. They get the 1 in the morning yesterday. They get all 4 in the afternoon. They get the first 3 this morning to move up 8-3. And then Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas had to hang on. Clawing to hang on so that they didn't lose.
And they're hanging on right now, too.
So it's 8-4 right now, and there's foursome matches going on. And I see Johnson and Koepka are up 2 now. Watson and Simpson are up 4 through 8. And, Molinari and Fleetwood are up. There's no shock there. They've been playing lights out. Yeah, and Spieth and Thomas are up. So we're up 3 out of 4. If you get it to 9-7, give us a chance tomorrow.
Oh, I think in individual golf, the one matchup I'll be worried about is obviously Molinari and Woods. Molinari's got his number, man. It seems like every time they're matched up, Woods plays bad. You saw it in one of the majors when Molinari won, which might have been the British Open. It was like Tiger was non-existent out there.
It can happen. It can happen on any given Sunday, as they say in the big leagues. WCHA women's hockey got started last night with their regular season. Number 7 Ohio State 3-2 over Quinnipiac. UConn defeats St. Cloud State 3-2 in overtime. Wisconsin, the number 2 ranked team in the nation, 3-2 over Lindenwood. Number 3 Minnesota, 4. Number 10 Mercyhurst 2. Number 1 Clarkson, the defending national champions, beat Bemidji State 5-1.
This is on the women's side.
This is on the women's side. The men get started next week, and the number 9 UMD Bulldogs get a 4-2 win over number 4 BC. Yes, the men get started next week. I'll be down at the UMD Minnesota game at Amsoil Arena. I am looking forward to it very, very much. What's going on the local schedule today? The Rainy River volleyball team is down in Grand Rapids to face Itasca at noon. The Fort Francis Lakers will be playing Thunder Bay at home at 7:30 tonight. Minnesota United in the MLS is hosting New York City FC tonight at 7 o'clock at TCF Bank Stadium. The Gophers are off this weekend. North Dakota State versus South Dakota State in football at 2:30.
That's always fun. That's on ESPN, I think, this afternoon.
It ought to be a dandy. UMD versus Concordia St. Paul this afternoon at 1 o'clock. BSU is at Wayne State at 1 o'clock. UND is at Northern Colorado at 1 o'clock. And St. Cloud State is at Mankato. They're in trouble at 2 o'clock. Number 12, West Virginia, and number 25, Texas Tech at 11 o'clock in the big boys. And number 7 versus number 8, Stanford versus Notre Dame at 6:30 tonight. Gopher Volleyball is in Indiana to continue to stay hot in the Big Ten. They're 3-0 in the Big Ten after their big win over Wisconsin at home on Wednesday night. The Twins wrap up the season tomorrow with a 2:10 game that can be heard on K104.
I can't believe it's already the end.
Yeah. It feels like it's been going on forever. I've been waiting for that.
And it's going to start up. Before you know it, it's going to be back.
It's going to be back. Former Bronco Sydney Raboin, she is down in the cities to run at the Roy Griak cross-country meet. She runs for North Dakota. Lexi Erickson is in Waverly, Iowa. She runs for St. Scholastica. Nathan McRoberts and the Minnesota Crookston football team are hosting Augustana at 1 o'clock today. Maddie Filipiak with the BSU volleyball team. They lost to Sioux Falls last night 3-1 as Maddie had 3 kills in a block. They host Southwest Minnesota State at 1 o'clock today, and I will be there to watch Maddie Filipiak. I haven't had a chance to watch her while she's been playing for the Beavers, and I will get down there today to watch her. Tia Goulet, Kiana Kittleson, Bianca Carlson, and Brittany Foss with the RRCC volleyball team. They lost to Mesabi Range earlier this week in 3 sets, and again, they are at Atasca today. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk Muskie football. You are listening to Coach's Corner, live from Hardee's on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. Welcome back to Coach's Corner. We're joined by members of the Fort Francis Muskies football team, and it is Colton Allen, Jacob Rill, and Wyatt Richards joining me. I was told by Coach, all offensive linemen, he wanted to send you guys over here and make sure you get your due justice. You agree with that, Wyatt, that's what we need to be doing?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. You guys take care of things up front. You guys get a nice win yesterday up in Winnipeg, 41-0.
Yeah.
Who wants to tell me about the highlights?
I will.
Jacob, go right ahead.
We played a really strong defensive game. Outside contain was absolutely amazing. Got penetration up front. Offensively, we play a very ground and pound style. Our offensive line was just able to bully down in the trenches all day. Cam Bowles is a tank of a running back. And then Brett Allen, 6 carries for like 136 yards. That man has wheels. He gets through the line and he's just gone, speed and bullet.
So you must only know this from watching the tape, because offensive linemen, they don't get to watch the running backs, right? You know that because you watched it on film?
I watch tons of film,
yeah?
But the nice thing is we're all pretty tall guys, so I can look over my block and I can just see these running backs just going.
That's pretty awesome. You guys sit at 3-1 on the season now, and I want to address that one loss because it didn't happen on the field. It was the first game of the season. Yeah. Things just didn't get put together early. Why do you?
Well, it's a bit of a sore spot for us on the team. We were really hoping to play and really pumped. So
it happens, right? It was a little bit due to the shortage of players, but now you guys seem to have everything going in the right direction. Colton, so what's gone so well for this team through the first 4 weeks of the season, through 3 games on the field?
Well, we've got more players out, and I've never seen a team with so much heart and determination to want to do something out there.
It just seems to have come together. Obviously, winning helps that. And Jacob, you talked about this team being able to run the ball, but obviously the defensive side of the ball is making things happen, because 0 last night, yesterday afternoon, 6 or 8 last week at home in the game there, and I think you guys had a shutout in week 2 as well, if I'm remembering correctly. So the defense must have some speed or something going on there as well.
Well, the big thing that we've had is years past, we have not gotten defensive line penetration. This year is completely different. We're constantly in the backfield. Our linebackers flow really, really well to the ball. Brady Bondarchuk at safety is just, he's great. Team guy, really gets us in there, and I think, overall this team has the attitude, it has the mentality that other Muskie teams have lacked.
You guys get a home game coming up here on Thursday afternoon. You guys play mostly day games, correct? Yeah. And that's, you guys don't have lights, is that correct?
That is
correct.
That is correct. And but when you guys play up in Winnipeg, do they have fields up there that have lights, or do you guys play up there just because of the travel? Is that?
They have fields that have lights. Not all fields do, and a lot of them aren't used for us. They're usually bigger fields. Sure. So like IG Field, where the Blue Bombers play, or the Manitoba Bison's field. Those ones have lights, but most high school fields do not have lights in Manitoba. We play mostly due to proximity. If we were to go into OFSA, we would have to travel a lot more, Thunder Bay, and then probably down into Southern Ontario for the actual OFSA championship. So it's just more ergonomic for us to go into Manitoba.
So Colt, when I say you guys got a 4-hour trip to Winnipeg, that's a pretty good deal, right? Considering what you might have to do.
Yeah.
playing in that league, you guys get to take 3 or 4 trips. What do you guys do? How do you guys fill the time on the bus on the ride up to kind of make things less mundane, I guess, for lack of a better word?
We got a good group of guys. It's all fun. We always joke around on the bus.
Cards?
Not as much cards. Lots of guys will just we blast music a lot. There's 3 Stooges that sit at the back, and they will fall asleep all of the time.
First 20 minutes.
Yeah, first 20 minutes of the bus ride, they are like out.
We're not going to give their names on the air, though. We're just going to say
we're just going to say that they sleep.
They know who they are. That they got.
They'll know.
So there's no shaving cream or anything going up on top of with none of that the hijinks going on. So the game coming up on Thursday, do you guys get a kind of a scouting report? Do you guys get a chance to watch these teams? You mentioned watching film. Do you get to see them on film, or is it something where you guys go up to Winnipeg and you've had maybe a chance to stay and watch who you're playing coming up through the rest of the season?
Well, we do watch film. I was watching film on Maples pretty much the moment I got home last night. They're definitely stronger than they were week 1 and when we played them last year. They play our 3-4 scheme basically exactly the same. Lorette played a different version of it where they brought the Sam and the Will up a little bit, but Maples will play those outside linebackers on the line. I think the keys to the game is just blocking those guys out because they don't play very strong outside contain. So if we just play like we have on the offensive line and get the run game going, we'll be in good shape.
Always get the run game going. That's what offensive linemen want to think. Get it going on and doing it. Brady Meeks, the quarterback, he's I won't say that he's got to throw a lot, but he's been pretty accurate through the first 3 games, Wyatt.
Yeah. Well, in previous years we haven't done a lot of throwing, and this year Meeks has thrown a lot, and he's done really well.
Came a long way.
Good receivers obviously help that as well. Yes.
Yeah, we have some really good receivers, and I feel that our throwing is going to continue to get better in the future.
Go ahead.
This year, receiving, the biggest thing that I've noticed is we have a lot of talented wide receivers. Riley Argue is a man that I've never seen a guy in high school football that can make all of the catches that he does, and we have a really good group of rookies there, and even guys who haven't played football but they're in grade 11 and 12 that are really contributing on the receiving end. Aiden Duschlatt has come a long way from last year, and he's proven that he's probably got some of the most reliable hands and short routes in the lead. So I think our passing attack has really made us this lethal team because we can run it, and then we can also play action a lot, and it helps a lot in an offensive game plan.
Colton, do you guys have a rival when you guys play in this league in Winnipeg? Is there a team that you guys always get to play? I know we were talking about before we went on the air that you guys can move up and down in the divisions, so it may be tough to get that rivalry, but is there a team out there that you guys see and you say, geez, we got to get those guys, we got to beat those guys?
Not exactly, but the game.
Hang on one sec. We must be just a little loose. Go ahead.
Not Sorry, exactly. The game's it's filled with respect. Other guys help you up when you get down or whatever. It's not much rivalry going on. You
guys agree with that? Go ahead, Jake.
So, since my grade 9 year, there have been really 2 teams that I would say we rival with. One is Kenora. It's a great rivalry because it's the Battle of Northwestern Ontario teams.
Sure.
We've always been pretty close with skill level. The other one is actually our homecoming game with St. John's, and I love playing St. John's. I've played them pretty much every year that I have played football for this team. So, 3 out of the 4 years I've played St. John's. And they're always a great team. They match up with us really well. So it's more friendly rivalries, but I do say that St. John's is probably our biggest rival.
Okay. So we were talking, while the commercials were going on, we were talking a little bit about college football. Do you guys follow the CFL closer than the NFL and the college football, or do you guys follow the American stuff a little bit more? What kind is the feeling? Go ahead, Wyatt, take a stab at that.
I feel that we follow more the American more than we do the CFL.
Sure.
So.
Because? Well, why do you, is it just, I mean.
More closer to the border, American border.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jacob,
I've got a quick interjection.
You got a quick interjection.
For Jacob, I feel like if it's football, he's going to watch it. That's just kind of what I've learned so far. But now it's your answer.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I watch every single football game on. I love college, university, Canadian university, NFL, CFL. Like, I've got favorite teams for everything. My dream is to go to Ohio State.
That's why he picked Ohio. That's why he went Ohio State.
Well, they have a history of having the best offensive lines in the nation. So, I mean, when you have that tradition, you gotta go Ohio State.
How about for you, Colton? Is it do you follow it along as closely as Jacob does? I mean, he's got a passion, and I like that passion because I can watch them all as well.
He lives and breathes football. I'd follow the NFL more than the CFL.
Okay.
Me and the boys get together, watch it, and have a good time.
Sure. Who's your favorite team?
Steelers.
Oh
boy.
Oh my.
Well, tell Le'Veon Bell to get in the game right now.
If you thought the Steelers were bad, I'm a New England Patriots fan. So
I think I can respect that a little more than Steelers.
Who you got?
Eagles fan. Yeah.
Eagles fan. Oh man, these guys they're stabbing us in the heart here. Where's your pride for the purple and gold? Anyway. We'll see.
I respect the Vikings.
Sure.
Yeah, because my uncle is a huge Vikings fan.
Okay.
And see, they're having a rough season this year.
Yeah, it's hard to respect them for me right now.
Yeah.
Hey, no, they played a tough schedule minus that loss to Buffalo. It's been a tough schedule. You guys are being too hard on them here. There's a dozen games left.
Yep. The Rams are a really hard game. I think they're the team to beat in football.
Could be.
If you really want to watch great football, I highly recommend the CFL.
Yeah.
Those games I love because when I watch college football and seeing those guys that don't make the NFL,
sure,
oftentimes they bounce up to the CFL. And I mean, that's fun because you have a bunch of these college guys that are playing to make it back to the NFL.
Sure.
And I mean, I might be a little biased, but the best CFL football is Red Blacks football, Ottawa Red Blacks.
I was going to ask, who's your favorite CFL team? We now know.
Yeah.
Jacob likes Ottawa.
Bombers.
The Bombers, absolutely.
Yeah, same.
I've been up to the Bombers probably 7 or 8 times to watch Winnipeg. I love going up and watching the Blue Bombers. Went up to the Grey Cup game a couple of years ago, so that was a lot of fun in Winnipeg and do those things. When you guys, we got to address this. There's only 3 downs in Canadian football. There's 4 in American. You guys play 3, obviously, in the high school. Would you rather see it be 4? I'm just kind of curious. Or no?
That's a tough one.
Well, it's a tough one. I feel like we would be really good at 4-down football because our running backs right now average like 5, 6, 7 yards per carry. So that's definitely a nice stat to have. 3-down, though, is I like it a little more because special teams are essentially 1/3 of the game.
Sure.
You know, like you're punting more, you're kicking more. So I think special teams for me are always some of the more fun moments in football to watch.
Sure.
And it highlights the players that maybe they're not specialized, but you always have to have the Matthew Slaters of football, who they run down, they attack the kickoff, and, you know, those are the most fun plays to watch. Punt blocks, like, you know, special teams in Canadian football is just as important as your offense and your defense, and I love it. It breeds competition and intensity.
Colton, you agree? You like the 3 downs versus the 4? Absolutely. Yeah. Wyatt, same. Go ahead.
I appreciate the 3 downs, but if we had, when you say 4 downs, you want us to shorten the width and length of our field.
Yeah.
So 3 downs kinds of help with that. It opens up the run game, especially if you have a bigger field.
Absolutely. Guys, congratulations on the great start of the season. Keep things going. I appreciate you guys coming over and being a part of Coach's Corner this morning. This is Colton Allen, Jacob Rill, and Wyatt Richards joining me. We'll take a break and we'll come back with more Coach's Corner. You're listening live from Hardee's on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. Nice meeting you guys. Appreciate it. Nice meeting you
guys.
So, hopefully we'll get over. You guys make the playoffs. Maybe we can. I've been trying to talk the boss. Trying to talk the boss into doing a game on the air. I wanted to do the one on Thursday really bad. I had it all planned out, and they just won't pull the trigger. So. See, Fridays are tougher. That Thursday game was going to work perfect. So go 90 seconds here. Now go 2 minutes out of the 3.5. Ryan, 2 minutes out of the 3.5. So, no Lakers. They stood us up. What the heck? They win.
Hockey.
Dang them guys. You guys want to stay? You want to stay and talk college football? We'll do a 5-minute segment on college football and where things are going.
Yeah, I'll talk college football.
Oh yeah.
I'll talk any football. I watch it all.
That's what we're gonna do that's what we're gonna do. Seeing as how the Lakers didn't show up, we'll talk football for 5 minutes.
I do evaluations of like prospects and everything. Like
This guy's gonna be a coach someday.
I'm right into it.
You in fantasy? You got fantasy?
Yeah, my fantasy team's not doing so hot.
I retake my statement.
I do like 3 teams. So the first one I do is like my fun team, and it's like the one where I'm actually strategically picking. The next team that I do is like a sleeper team. So teams, guys, and that's the one that's doing the best right now. Because I pick guys who are in great situations to succeed, but people didn't think we're going to succeed, and I'm 2-1, I think, in that league.
Thanks, Ryan.
Who do you think the best quarterback in this draft is?
I don't think there is I don't know. I don't.
That's a great question.
I don't think there's one that really steps out and is first round, or even though there'll be one picked in the first round.
3 seconds, guys.
Francois coming out this year?
I think so.
Well, welcome back to Coach's Corner, and we were going to talk to the Fort Francis Lakers, but obviously something must have come up this morning. They're not here with us this morning. That's all right. So the boys have decided we're going to talk a little college football, and we're gonna see how things go. So obviously Alabama's the #1 team in the nation. Can we all agree on that first of all?
Well, I mean, I think it's obvious. Alabama with their coach is just like they've got the best coaching, the best recruiting. I mean, obviously when you pull down the second best draft class and you were already a phenomenal team, or not draft class, a sign-in class, like, and you're already the #1 team in the nation, like that's a tremendous boost. The only thing that I'm a little worried about is, yes, they play in the SEC, but the SEC has kind of taken a nosedive and
big time
compared to previous years. You know, like because there's Alabama and there's Georgia and who else? You know, there's nobody there that's going to compete.
Boy, Auburn and LSU might want to have a talk with you.
I think this year,
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm just saying they might want to have a chat with you about that they're not going to be competitive.
This year for those two teams, I think it's different. You know, in some previous years, especially under Les Miles for LSU, they were taking some bad turns. The Gators have been taking bad turns. Texas A&M's always one of those teams that'll hang around, but never really great.
Yeah. You guys, Wyatt, you want to add something in there?
No, I don't watch college football.
Don't watch college football much. Huh? That's fair enough. Colton, you same thing. Don't watch college football much. Okay, so so Alabama's one. Is Georgia's the second best team?
Georgia to me is the #2 team. Georgia again, they have Jake Fromm. And he's a junior quarterback. Second year, he's still got another year left, and he's showing that he's probably the best SEC quarterback in the league. I think their run game is consistently good. They lost some offensive linemen. Isaiah Wynn is a big one for that offensive line. But I think that, you know, they pulled down the best signing class in the nation. So if that's not going to help your team, I don't know what is.
So Clemson and Ohio State and these other teams, do they have a chance against either of those two teams and I'm saying on any given night somebody can beat somebody else, but I mean if we're doing it on paper and whatever else, it's the national championship game is Georgia versus Alabama, right?
I wouldn't settle on that yet.
He's going to say Ohio State, right?
He wants to say Ohio State.
Ohio State.
So now that we're in Big Ten football, real football, and I'm saying this wearing a Florida Gator sweatshirt on, which doesn't make any sense.
It does not make any sense.
You know, the Gophers, haven't won the Floyd of Rosedale in the last 3 seasons. Do they do it this year?
No.
Can they get it done?
No,
Can they get the shock?
They're going to go 0-9 in the Big Ten.
0-9?
0-9.
I have to agree. The Big Ten is a loaded division right
0-9?
They're going to go. They will not win a game the remainder of the season. They showed they showed their true colors last week against Maryland.
They're young.
I know Maryland upset Texas early on in the season. That's it.
I think you get a win at least Illinois.
That's the one game that they might be able to swing, but I still.
We'll see.
I hope we're at the end of the season and you guys are coming back and they got 8 wins. That'd be great.
Well, I would be willing to sit here and eat crow all day if they come up with 8 wins this season. If they would win 5 games in the Big Ten, I probably would jump off the top of Hardee's here into a big snowbank in the middle of December.
The Axe is coming home.
He's delusional. He's delusional.
No.
Hey, miracles can happen.
Miracles can happen. You are right about that. Guys, again, appreciate you being here. We're going to wrap this up so we can get out of here on time. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
We'll take another break here. We'll come back and we'll wrap it up from Hardee's. You're listening to Coach's Corner on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. Welcome back to Coach's Corner for our final segment. I think, Jacob, you were just mentioning got a career in coaching or announcing because he's into it. He's embedded.
It's one thing to have like the knowledge of it, and it's a complete other thing especially when you're going on the radio, is being able to formulate your opinions and what you think about specific people. It was
right at the top of the brain for him. He's ready to go. Let's talk about the week that was. Rainy River Volleyball last Saturday was defeated by Central Lakes in 3 sets. Summer Leonard and Chelsea Cabate each had 6 kills. The Fort Francis Lakers' Jaden Ness had a pair of goals, including the game winner. He set up another one for Ethan Knutson as the Fort Francis Lakers went on the road and beat the Minnesota Iron Rangers 6-2 last Saturday. Innis Volleyball was down in Reamer for the Northland tournament. They went 0-5 in that tournament as they lost in 2 sets to Ogilvy, Northland, McGregor, Fond du Lac, and Bertha Hewitt. The Bronco bowling team last week had their first meet. They lost to Grand Rapids, but they beat Hibbing and Virginia, so that means they're in second place after the first of 4 meets. In the trap shooting last week, the reserve week, the preseason, Asher Bellinger 45, Gage Bergstrom had 43, Connor Mann 42, and Corey Battalion had 41. On Monday, the Innis volleyball team lost to Northholm Kellier in 4 sets. Rayanna Wolden 3 kills, 2 aces, and 6 set assists. Anna Noyes 5 kills and 5 digs, and Kim Loicano had 3 aces. On Tuesday, Indus got a win over the Circle of Life Academy in 3 sets, 25-23, 26-24, and 25-14. Anna Noyes 4 kills and 3 aces. Rayanna Wolden had 5 aces and 5 set assists. The Bronco volleyball team took set 1 down at Hibbing on Tuesday, but couldn't hang on as they lost 23-25, 25-15, 25-22, and 25-18 to the Hibbing Blue Jackets. Maria Vollum had 17 digs, Sarah Caulfield 25 digs, 3 aces and 6 kills. Chloe Sullivan had 5 kills and 3 aces, and Grace Bragg had 5 kills and 4 aces. The LBF volleyball team lost to Deer River at home in 3 sets. Emily Fairchild had 5 kills and 9 digs, while Marianne Gray had 8 set assists. The Rainy River volleyball team lost to Mesabi Range in 3 sets, 25-6, 25-16, and 25-17. On the Tuesday, also cross country, Ryan Ford was the individual champ at the Deer River Invitational with a time of 19:47. Avery Savonin in 3rd, Bailey Herberg 4th, Ellen Wendell's 15th, and Anna Wendell's 23rd, as the Falls took 2nd place as a team with 41 points, just behind Wadena Deer Creek with 39. The boys tied for first place with Wadena Deer Creek at 45. Jake Erickson 4th, Hunter Wilson 6th, Parker Zavonin 9th, Justin Besh 12th, and Joe Glowak 14th. The Fort Francis boys volleyball team lost in 3 sets to Beaver Bray, and the Fort Francis girls basketball team, I want to know how good this girls basketball team is. They won 75-35.
Yeah, that's and they've done that a few different times this season too.
They've been very good. Ellie Petznick led the way with 28, and Jamie Spencer had 20 in that Tuesday win over Beaver Bray. On Thursday, the Bronco girls swimming and diving team defeated Virginia 116-70 as the Broncos won 10 of 12 events. Virginia won 2 of the first 3 events, and then the Broncos swept it out the rest of the way. Emma Erickson took first in the 200 and the 500 free. Amelia Stewart first in the 50 and the 100 free. Taylor Sears first in the 100 breaststroke. Lindsay Lucy won first in the 100 backstroke, and Whitney Gwynn won in diving as the Broncos improved to 3-2 in their dual meets this season. The LBF volleyball team got a sweep of Nashua Keewatin at home on Thursday, 25-18, 25-23, and 25-21. Lucy Kennedy had 3 aces and 9 digs. Danielle Pekarsky 10 kills. Nissa Thomas had 9 digs and 13 set assists. On Thursday, the Bronco cross-country teams are right back at it. They were down in Hibbing. The boys took third with 93. GNK, who's probably maybe the favorite to win the section, they scored 58. Ely right behind with 78. Jake Erickson took 10th. Hunter Wilson 12th. And Parker Savonin 19th. The girls' team also took third place as a team with 103. Proctor won it with 81. And GNK had 85. Ryan Ford takes third, Avery Savonin 5th, and Bailey Herberg 18th.
And so I talked to head coach Paul Jelly early last week, kind of talking about this specific meet, and he, just kind of explaining that this is kind of the one where they were going to measure where they're at with the rest of the section.
Sure.
All the teams are there.
Right.
Most of the teams are there of what they're going to be in the sections.
Yeah.
So it's pretty. It's definitely a positive outcome for him to play so high.
Absolutely. Last night, the Bronco football team broke their 41-game losing streak as they defeated Northwoods 20-6. Big night for Armando Barrios, rushing the ball 14 carries for 139 yards. The LBF Vikings won 32-30 over Renshaw as they improved to 3-2 on the season. Jacob Pendergast had 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns to bring the Vikings back as they trailed after 3 quarters. The Bronco volleyball team lost in 3 sets at Duluth Marshall. The Indians volleyball team had to come back and win the final 3 sets to defeat Fond du Lac in 5 sets. The Fort Francis Muskies football team won 41-0 over Lorette yesterday, and the Fort Francis Lakers, got a 6-5 win over the Minnesota Iron Rangers last night. Locally today, Rainy River volleyball team is down at Itasca at noon for a match down there in the Northern Division, and the Fort Francis Lakers are at home tonight against Thunder Bay at 7:30 at Ice for Kids Arena. Nothing going on Sunday. Monday, first day of October, best month of the year, everybody. Don't forget about that. Greatest month is October. Nothing going on locally on Monday. On Tuesday, the Fort Francis Golf is hosting the NWASA tournament, and a couple of golfers for Fort Francis in there, Michael Ward, and I'm doing it off the top of my head.
Oh my gosh, Michael Ward and
yeah.
Well, I've got the picture in my.
You look it up.
I got it.
I'll keep reading. Thanks.
Yeah.
The Fort Francis girls basketball team and boys volleyball team will be at Dryden on Tuesday. The girls swimming and diving team will be down at the IRC swim meet at Grand Rapids. The Little Fork Big Falls Vikings volleyball team hosts Cherry on Tuesday, and the cross country teams will be in Ely and.
I'm still getting there.
Oh, okay. And the Bronco volleyball team will be at home taking on Chisholm, and we'll have that game for you on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. Pregame to start at 6:45. The Rainy River volleyball team is down at Hibbing on Wednesday for a 6:30 match. On Thursday, the Fort Francis football team will be hosting Maples at 3 o'clock. The girls basketball team and the boys volleyball team will be hosting Beaver Bray on Thursday afternoon. The Bronco volleyball team, another home match as they host Eveleth Gilbert on Thursday. The Indus volleyball team is down at Red Lake for a 5:30 match, and the LBF volleyball team is at Kellier Northome. He's got it.
Aiden Willinga.
Thank you. I couldn't remember. I knew it was Aiden, but I could not think of the last name. I appreciate it. And then on Friday, the Bronco football team will be in Two Harbors to take on the Agates. Pregame at 6:35, kickoff at 7 o'clock as the Broncos look to have a winning streak. Man,
doesn't that sound nice?
That sounds very nice.
Flows.
Lakers are at home against Thief River Falls. The Little Fork Big Falls Vikings football team will be home against Floodwood for a 7 o'clock game at John Thompson Field. And the Rainy River volleyball team, I've got hosting Fond du Lac, but I'm not sure that they have a team, so I'm a little questioning myself on that. Next Saturday, the Bronco bowling team will be at Hibbing for a 2:30 meet. The girls swimming and diving team will be in Duluth for the true team meet. The International Falls volleyball team will be at Esco all day for a big tournament there. And the Fort Francis Lakers will be at Hoyt Lakes to take on the Minnesota Iron Rangers at 7 o'clock.
I just wanted to comment on, the Vikings football team. That's some people might know that I've never called a football game before this high school football season, and I've never been in person for a 9-man football game, and I've been thoroughly impressed. Just by the way they play. Yeah. It's fun. It's fun football to watch. They run the ball so well, and that's just my 2 cents.
That's Will Heyer's 2 cents this morning. Maybe we're going to make that a weekly thing. Will Heyer gets the final word in. He gets to put his 2 cents worth in. Of course, next week you're going to be in the studio pushing all the buttons for me.
Yes, I will.
And you'll be there Friday night pushing all the buttons for me
I
as
will.
well. Well, that's good to hear. As we next week, I know we're going to have Indus volleyball, and I don't know who else we're going to have on, but we'll get that figured out this week. We don't want to put too much pressure on myself. Thanks to Ryan back at the station for pushing all the buttons. Thanks to the Fort Francis Muskie football players for stopping over. Thanks to Dave and the crew here at Hardee's for taking care of our guests. Thanks to our sponsors, but most of all, thank you for listening to Coach's Corner, live from Hardee's on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com.